What's going on? We're back for another amazing episode of the Innovator Hour, man. And I got a very special guest in the building, man. I got my guy, 24KGoldn. What's going on, bro?
Chilling, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. First, I want to say it's a pleasure and a blessing to have you here. I appreciate you for coming through today, bro.
Nah, bro. It's my pleasure.
Nah, tops. First, I have to ask you, why the name 24KGoldn?
So I've always been really into jewelry.
Yeah.
And in the jewelry world, 24 carats is like purity of gold. Like, you know, 14 karat, 18 karat, all that.
Yeah.
So 24 carats is like the most pure form of gold.
Yeah.
And my real name is Golden. And I was just going by Golden. I was just going by Golden before, but I felt like it needed something to differentiate it.
Yeah.
And it's just 24 carats represents me being the most pure form of myself.
That's actually tight as fuck. I fuck with that for sure. So I want to ask you, when did you start making music?
I started making music about like 3 years ago.
Really?
I think it's almost 3 years like this month.
And what was it that got you that said, I want to start doing it?
So I've always been into music, and like music has always been, like my parents, they always played like a really wide variety of music. Yeah. So growing up, I just had like I was exposed to good music from the beginning. Yeah. And I did like choir in middle school, and I did a year of choir in high school. But I think it all really started when I was a freshman. Yeah. And, you know, I'll just be chilling with my friends, and someone just had the idea to throw on some beats off YouTube. Yeah. And, like, you know, everybody does that. Yeah, everybody freestyles some beats. And I just went at it, and my friends were like, yo, you're actually kind of good. Yeah. And that planted the seed. And then I was messing with Don Paperboy from San Francisco, too. He's got a shop called Dream Team SF. Yeah. And they sell, like, sneakers and clothes and shit. And am I allowed to cuss? Yeah. Okay, cool. And they were selling sneakers and clothes and shit. Yeah. And I was a big sneakerhead, so I went there and we just started developing a relationship. And one day he was like, "Yo, we got a studio upstairs if you ever want to use it." Really? And that combined with me thinking like, "All right, you know I kind of got some bars." Yeah. I just went in and recorded my first song and then dropped it that same night. And when I went to school the next day, I just felt like the man. You know, like everyone was hyping me up, and each song the positive response made me want to keep making more and more music. Yeah. And like I'm the type of person that just is always like trying to perfect my craft and always trying to learn more. So like I just kept making more and more songs because people were loving it, and each song got better, and then we just ended up here. Yeah, that's lit as fuck, bro. I fuck with that. Do you remember the first song you ever made? The first song I ever made was called Broke Boy, and you can't find it anymore. Like, it's privated on my SoundCloud. Really? It's got like 1,200 plays, but it was just like, you know, everyone's first song ain't the best. So I just want to, my second song is a way better first song than my real first song. Do you still play it? No. But my second song, Long Chomp Shawty, that was like Long Chomp is like a bag that like just a bag that a lot of girls have. And in San Francisco, in the high school I went to, like there was a certain stereotype associated with girls that like had Long Chomp bags, you know. So I made a song called Long Chomp Shawty, and just everyone was liking that one. What was it like growing up in the city for you? It's like a real unique experience because there's not a lot of kids in San Francisco. Like, this is a real statistic. There's more dogs than people under the age of 18 in San Francisco. Like, that's real. That's real. So everybody knows each other pretty much. So it doesn't matter if you go to private school or public school. Like, if you're going out and you're partying or whatever and you're a social person, you're going to know a lot of people. Yeah. So I think that was especially helpful with, like, my music because I feel like in the Bay Area, people can be resistant to sounds that are different than the current norm, you feel me? Yeah. And being in high school, everyone's like, we'll listen to anything, you know? Like they're all down to hear new shit. Yeah. And that just helped me blow up like locally in San Francisco. Yeah. But in terms of like growing up and stuff, I love growing up in San Francisco. Like it's a lot different. It's changed as I've been there. Yeah. But I think that like San Francisco gives you a big city experience and like a safer and like more controlled, smaller environment. Yeah. And it definitely prepared me to come out here to LA. Yeah. See, I'm from Richmond. I went to the city, but like sparingly. It wasn't until I turned like 17 and had fake IDs and shit. I was really going to fuck around. City nights, right? City nights. Roaring 20s, my first fucking strip club that I went to. I was just having a good time in the city, but the city always has good energy, and it's a great place to be, bro. Yeah, facts. What artists did you grow up listening to? Like I said, like so both my parents were models and they traveled the world. Yeah. That's crazy. And they traveled the world together, and so they like brought back a bunch of music from all kinds of cultures. Like I was listening to like a lot of classic like soul type stuff, but also like world music. And my parents are also like pretty hip on the new stuff too. So my mom, she was the one that put me on to Kanye West first.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
my mom.
tight as hell.
Yeah. So it was always a big variety, but I think like Black Eyed Peas were definitely really influential. Like Akon, T-Pain.
Yeah.
Those guys just went crazy.
That's hella tight. What is your process like for selecting beats and working on lyrics for your songs?
Yeah. It's definitely changed as I've like grown as an artist, because when I was first making music, it would literally just be me and my computer, and I would just write beats, write to beats all day. I would go through YouTube for like 2 hours trying to find the right beats, because YouTube is like it's like finding a needle in a haystack right there. Like just finding that one gem beat, you know? So I would just write to beats all day. But now, like, I just go in the studio and I'll like record 10 hooks in one night type of shit if I really want to, you know? Like I've definitely done that before. And it's all about being most efficient with my time now, because there's so much different shit going on in my life between school and social life and, you know, wanting to relax and then music and everything. So it's all just, now I've refined it down to be a lot more time efficient. Yeah,
I know I asked you about it before we started, but can you kind of touch back on what it's like being a student and an artist at the same time?
I like to, like, the best comparison I have for it is like Hannah Montana. Yeah. Because you kind of have, except like it's not a secret because people know that I make music. Yeah. But in terms of like having to fulfill both of those double lives, like I was telling you before, I'm only taking one class this semester, but last semester I was taking like a full-time student course load. So I was doing essays, I was doing homework, I was going to class every day. And it was just all about the time management, you know, just finding that balance. But this semester, pretty much when everybody else is in class, I'm in the studio. And then at night, you know, I'll just kick it, go to a college party, something like that.
Yeah. I think it's cool. I think it's an experience where you're able to find what works best for you, but still make time to enjoy yourself in the process. And then you're signed right now, right?
Yeah, I just signed with Records in Columbia.
Yeah. What went into you getting signed?
So that's actually a real crazy story because it was pretty much just luck. It was real random. So this guy named Herschel Pandia, he's a writer for DJ Booth, and he had written this article that was called like The Stigma of SoundCloud Rap. That just talked about like how if you say that you rap now and just because your music is put on SoundCloud, there's like a stigma associated with that, like a negative stigma, because a lot of people have messed it up, you know, just going over the top.
Try to like say it's a whole bunch of SoundCloud rappers and shit.
Exactly, but there are definitely like unique SoundCloud rappers. Everybody you got to find them though. Yeah. And so he wrote that article, and he was basically just defending the term SoundCloud rapper and what we were just talking about. Yeah. And at the end of it, he said, "So I'm getting like I'm putting a call out, and if anyone that would be considered a SoundCloud rapper wants to send me their music through Twitter, I'll listen to at least 45 seconds of it." And as soon as I seen that, I hopped on it and I DM'd him my music. I added him, and I kind of just forgot about it. And 2 weeks later, he wrote another article following up the first one, saying like, I listened to these SoundCloud rappers and here's what I think. Yeah. And out of all the songs, he was like, about my song, Ballin' Like Sharif. That was a song, Ballin' Like Sharif.
Yeah, I heard it.
Swish. But he was like, out of all the songs, like this one has the biggest potential. Like I think 24KGoldn is definitely gonna blow. Yeah. And D.A. Doman, who did D.A. Got That Dope. Yeah. This was like before Taste and ZZ and all that. He had seen that article and he had just sent an email to the one I had in my Instagram bio. Yeah. And I read it and I was planning to come out to LA already. Yeah. And he lives out here in LA. So we just linked, and like from there, he's like such a great person. You know, he's real selfless, and he puts on for me a lot. And he was talking to Records, which is run by Barry Weiss. And they were trying to get him to be an A&R. And he ended up doing that because he's working with my project. But they sent him some music of some people, and they were like, "Yo, DA, what do you think?" And he was like, "This is all right, but I got another kid I want to show you." And he sent them Valentino and Ballin' Like Sharif. Yeah. And they were like, Barry Weiss literally called me like 30 minutes later, and he was like, "Yo, I'm trying to fly out to LA right now and sign you." And he literally flew out to LA that next Monday, and we had a meeting and stuff like that. And it didn't end up happening officially then, but it was all through DA. So shout out to him.
That was tight as
hell,
bro.
Barry Weiss,
that's a dope ass story, bro. Yeah. Good thing you got on Twitter that day.
I know, right? Imagine if I went on Instagram instead. Imagine if I might not be here right now.
So let's talk about the new music you got out right now. Of course, your song Valentino, bro, is everywhere right now. Yeah. And I want to ask you, what was the mindset when creating that record?
I mean, that record was created around Valentine's Day last year. I've been sitting on that record for a full year pretty much until it released, because I knew that was the one that was going to help me take off and just give me like a big boost in my trajectory.
Yeah.
And like with certain songs, you know, you got to save them just because you don't have the right resources to fully capitalize on them at the time. And that was one of those songs. So in terms of like the meaning behind the song, I don't want a Valentine, I just want Valentino.
Yeah.
I think my mindset might have been different then, but now I interpret it to be as more of like a rejection of outside validation, because what's a Valentine? It's like a card or a present that somebody else gets you, you know?
Yeah.
But Valentino, that's something you can get for yourself.
Yeah.
It's like self-love.
Yeah. That's tight. You also dropped a new record called Time for That.
Yeah.
What was the mindset when creating that song? I like that shit.
That one is like that was probably one of like the most fun songs to make, just because of how like high energy it is.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to carry out that entire energy through the song. And you know, sometimes a girl's gonna hit your phone with that bullshit, and you just don't got time for that. It's this lifestyle, you know, you don't have a lot of time for the bullshit, and I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Who did the production on that?
That was Fly Melodies. He's like this producer from Hungary. And that song, I think I recorded that song the same day that I recorded Valentino.
Really?
There was 3 songs I recorded that day. Time for That, Valentino, and this other one called 06 Swag. Yeah. But I haven't released that one yet.
You haven't released it?
But it's that same type of like crazy energy. But,
so when did you record Ballin' Like Sharif?
Ballin' Like Sharif, that was the first song where I feel like I found my sound, because I'd switched to this new studio, High Life Flows, down in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And that was the first studio where like he had auto-tune there. And I never got a chance to experiment with that before. And I think I have a pretty good voice naturally, but auto-tune just changes the game, because it allows you to manipulate your voice in ways that wouldn't otherwise be possible, you know? And Ballin' Like Sharif, that was January last year.
Okay. Do you know Sharif?
He was supposed to come out with me at Rolling Loud, but I haven't met him before. We talked on Twitter and stuff like that. Yeah. And you know how he had his heart surgery? Yeah. So that was the day before Rolling Loud, but he hit me and he retweeted my shit when I posted I was performing at Rolling Loud. He was like, I wish I could come out with you, but I'll be recovering. Yeah. So it's whatever. But I'm sure
y'all go to rival schools. How does that
I think no one really cares about that. Like in the grand scheme of things, it's fun to poke fun at people that go to UCLA, but like at the end of the day, everyone's just focused on getting money.
Hey, off tops, that's definitely got to be the #1 goal.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about a surreal moment you've had so far in your music career?
So I did this show at Nightingale. My boy Jasu right over there. Yeah. He DJs too, and he produces. But he threw this show on, I think it was Valentine's Day. Yeah. That was the one. Yeah, Valentine's Day. And we rebranded it as Valentino Day. Yeah. Because
that's tight.
You know. And it was just a bunch of USC heads in there, but like a bunch of other just random people from LA too. And I was performing Valentino, and the music cut out just by accident. Yeah. And I heard everyone singing all the lyrics to the song.
Oh, that's lit.
And it was just like y'all know my song? Like, you guys know all the words, all these people, like, and for me, I feel like music is a way to change the world on an individual level. And if I can make music that like brings people joy enough to the fact that like it's stuck in their head and they know all the lyrics, that's just the biggest thing for me. So that was just incredible experiencing that.
No, that's hella tight. Now, can you tell me about a challenging obstacle you faced in your career and how did you overcome it?
I mean, I think that the entire beginning part of your career is really a challenge. You know, everything's a prelude up until you get that one big song or you get signed or something like that. That's just like the beginning of your story. Yeah. And people think nowadays just because the tools to make music are so accessible, everyone thinks that they can be the biggest star, you know, the next Lil Pump, the next big rapper that just blows up randomly off of SoundCloud. But most people don't realize how much underlying work that takes, you know, the shows, the promotion, the texting your friends 10 times, yo, can you post this for me? Can you post this for me? Can you post this for me? And just, it's all about how bad you want it and how hard you're willing to work. And not to say that some people don't randomly blow up. Yeah. Because you could list like a million examples of people that like, there's millions of people. But I think just that whole initial stage, taking someone from 0 to 30 is a lot harder than taking someone from 30 to 100.
Yeah, off tops. Nah, I completely agree with that. I think a lot of it ties into having a good team and working with the right people, but especially having the right team that are going to help push you and help you push your shit to the world. You feel me?
Yeah.
Of course. I want to ask you, what's a perfect day for you?
A perfect day.
Yeah.
So I wake up at like 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Yeah. Get my good like 12 hours in. Need a beauty sleep. And then probably get some food. I'm kind of like a really big foodie. I used to watch like, you know that show Andrew Zimmern, Weird Foods?
I've heard it. I've heard that
like
show.
Andrew Zimmern, Anthony Bourdain. Who's the dude that has like the crazy hair? Flavor Town. Guy Fieri, yeah. So all those guys, like, I would just watch it because it's on all the time.
Yeah.
And like, I love to try weird food, so I'd probably just go to like some crazy, like, bust down $4 signs on Yelp type restaurant, and then have someone pay for it. It's a perfect day, right?
A good ass meal, and it was free. Hey,
exactly.
That would for sure be a good ass day.
And then go to the studio, make a hit. Go do a show right after, leave with a dime, and that's the night.
Hey, that sounds like a good day to me.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I want to ask you, what's next for you? New project, new single, videos, tour. What can the people expect from 24KGoldn?
So I'd say like the biggest things I'm excited about right now are I just did this new single called Lot to Lose. That Josu produced it, and my boy Omer. There's guitars on it, and this kid, his kid's named Omer, and he spazzed out on the guitar. Like, he's the rawest guitar player I've ever met. Yeah. And what makes this song real special is that it was recorded all in my dorm room.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was recorded, mixed there, like the guitar, everything was all in the dorm room. And now
crazy.
And now it's about to be like on Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff. Yeah. So that's just like that's like perfect. And it means a lot to me in that song. It's real emotional, and it's a lot different than a lot of other music I've put out.
Yeah.
And in terms of a project, I think, this summer is going to be the perfect time just to drop like a EP with all bangers.
Yeah.
All bangers. Because I feel like nowadays people drop too many filler songs.
Yeah.
Why put 24 songs if only 5 are going to be a banger? Might as well just put those 5 bangers out and then do 5 more bangers.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because one of my homies was just asking me, he's about to drop a project. He was like, he wanted to drop a 17-song project.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you think that's too many songs? And I was like, in this era, I think so. Like, I feel like less, but 5 quality songs will go farther than 17 with 3 okay songs, and the rest people aren't really fucking with.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like especially like for anybody that doesn't already have like a super big fan base, you just want to hit them with the singles because that's like the least effort and the most momentum.
Yeah.
But if you put out a project like a 17, 20, 30 song project, which a lot of people are doing, like, nobody's going to listen to that unless they already have loyalty to you.
Yeah. What are some artists you want to work with in the future?
I think definitely like Kanye West is a big one.
Yeah.
Just because I've noticed that he's been reaching out to a lot of new upcoming artists with YNW Melly and 6ix9ine, and I feel like we would just make beautiful music together. Yeah. Also, Akon and T-Pain, like, those two are some of my biggest inspirations. Yeah. Just because they've been able to take their music career and branch out with it. Like, Akon has his own currency, and he's like saving Africa. Yeah. But he also makes bangers, He also made Lonely, and T-Pain also made like Buy You a Drink, and he's doing like crazy tech stuff now. Yeah. And like, I respect him a lot. I would love to work with him.
I think music is it's an avenue where you can gain the notoriety and the money to branch out and do whatever the fuck you want to do, whether it's film, helping the community, anything, bro. I think the sky's the limit for you. And I want to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, so I'm 18 right now. In 5 years, I'll be 23.
Yeah.
So by then, I'm probably gonna have a lot of platinum plaques. Hopefully 1 Grammy in the next 5 years. And then I want to be able to, cause like I'm a business student right now. And like you said, music is a great way to get like the capital and the platform,
Definitely, 100%.
And to really expand. So I definitely want to have some of my own businesses, my own apps. And then I did commercial acting as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, like Lunchables, like Blue Diamond Almonds, all that stuff.
Really?
Yeah, like I'll show you after. I'll show you after.
Right.
But they're mad funny. But I've always liked acting, and my dad and my mom, they acted and they modeled. So I kind of want to do movies and TV shows and stuff like that too.
That's tight. I think you'll be able to do that for sure, bro. What is your favorite food spot out here and in the city?
Ooh, in the city, I gotta say Taqueria El Farolito because like Mexican food in the Bay, in my opinion, is better than Mexican food in LA.
I think so too. I grew up on it, so I'm gonna agree with you for sure. Some motherfuckers from LA might be like, oh hell no.
Nah, someone's definitely gonna be talking shit in the comments after I said that. But I don't know. I just think there's too many spots in LA, so it's like hard to find a good one. But in the Bay, like if there's a Mexican spot, it's probably fire because there's only like 6 Mexican spots. Yeah. Only the strong survive. Yeah. And then in LA, I'd go like Sweet Chick or Nobu. Yeah. Yeah, just depends what mood I'm in.
For sure. I like to ask this question to everyone who comes on my show. Yeah. If you could pick yourself to be any animal in the world, what would it be and why?
That's a great question. Yeah. Well, you gotta. All right. I'm gonna talk it out. So there's 3 categories of animals that you could do. You could be a land animal. Yeah. You could be a water animal. Or you could be like a flying animal. Right. We could be an underground animal too. There's a lot of animals. Yeah. But I think
any animal.
I think it would probably have to be like a flying animal, just because that's something that like humans will never experience. Like we could swim, we could walk, we could dig a hole in the ground and go in it if you want, you know. But like real flying with wings, that's something that I don't think humans can experience.
I think so. Like a bird.
Yeah, a bird, a peregrine falcon.
Oh shit.
That's the fastest.
I gotta look that one up.
It's the fastest mammal. It's the fastest animal in the world, I think.
That's crazy. I gotta look. After this, I'm about to go look that shit up because I've never seen. I don't know if I've seen one before.
They're in the Bay too.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. What is something that most people don't know about you?
Something that most people don't know about me. I did Capoeira for 7 years.
Really?
Yeah, it's a Brazilian martial art.
I've actually done it before.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't that good. Actually, my cousin, her husband was into it, and for some reason. It was when I first moved to LA. Yeah. And I didn't really know anybody, and they kind of dragged me out there. And I like busted my toe, bro, and it was leaking. But it was a cool experience though. And it was the energy from everybody in the room, it was good and it was positive. But people are out there battling and shit.
For real, yeah. And the craziest thing about it to me is that like how fluid the motions are. Like if you just saw somebody doing it by themselves, you would think that they're just like an ill-ass breakdancer. Yeah. But if you see like someone fighting with Capoeira, it's like, damn, this guy's a killer. Exactly.
For my final question, bro, I want to ask you, what advice can you give to a younger artist who's trying to get in the music game?
Work smarter, not harder, because like take a look at like Lil Nas X, you know? Yeah. He was able to use the technology that was available to him to blow himself up. He wasn't doing shows. He wasn't, you know, passing out his mixtape in the streets, you know? Like you always got to be on the cutting edge of things. And I think that if you're young right now, you're a lot more tapped in than the average person, you know, with technology and stuff like that. So use that to your advantage.
Nah, definitely. I think in this new era, it's a lot easier for people to have access to your music. Yeah. So you definitely, he was using TikTok. I still don't really know what TikTok is like that, but it worked and shit. You can't knock him for taking advantage of that, for real. Yeah. Once again, bro, I want to say it was a pleasure to have you here today, bro. I appreciate you coming through today, bro, and I wish you much success moving forward.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir.